Are you fully caffeinated? All right, if I could just ask you to please turn your cell phones to vibrate out of respect to those who are trying to fall asleep. A special thank you to Rabbi Bolt for inviting me again for your beautiful series. I would like to dedicate an additional dedication to a very close friend of mine who passed away just this week in Ramat Bet Shemesh, Rabbi Kestenbaum Ephraim Ben David, 92 years old, a very special person who saved a lot of Jews. His father saved a lot of Jews with him in the Holocaust, but he also saved a lot of Yidden in Egypt, from Syria, Turkey, in very dire situations, would negotiate with the governments to release Jewish prisoners, and he would bribe them. And any learning tonight, you'll also go to, amongst all the others, also to Ephraim Ben David, Amen. So the subject selected for this evening is Olam Hanisayon, bloom where you're planted. Anyone here had a choice in their parents? No? Okay. Anyone here had a choice in their siblings? Probably not. Anyone here had a choice in their preschool, their elementary school years? Probably very little. Most of our formative years are exactly that. They're formative. And it's not really till Bat and Bar Mitzvah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has developed our mind to be responsible, able to respond to situations where we're held accountable for being a bar da'as. But says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this is what we're training in every single morning, one of the brachas we make is She'asali kol tzarki. You have already provided, this is the only bracha in Birkas HaShachar which is in past tense. You have already provided all my needs. We're training in His reality that everything I need is already in my life, in my wife, in my spouse, in my house, in my health, in my wealth. In every area of our lives, Hashem asks me, please blossom wherever I plant you. So, question, in the middle of traffic, and I'm late, I should have left earlier, the pressure, what does Hashem say? Blossom where I planted you. Right now, you're on the LIE or wherever else. Please, I'm giving you an invitation. Blossom. What does blossom mean?
Deal with it. Deal with it as it is.
What's the best way for me to deal with it? Whether it's the traffic, it makes no difference what we're talking about. It's all the same because this is one long Olam Hanisayon. It's one long test. Mesilas Yesharim does offer Kol Inyane HaOlam Hen Nisyonis La'adam. Every single situation we find ourselves in, everything that we go through, whether it's being single, or even harder, being married, or being divorced, or having children, or waiting for children, or having health issues, Rahman al-Islam, or financial setback. It makes no difference which area it is, literally. A person is getting the same invitation. Blossom where I've planted you. Avram Aveeno is thrown to the Kivshan Ha'esh. And who is behind that? Terach, his own father. Ask any psychologist. On a 0 to 10 rating of pain. 0 is the least, 10 is the most. What is betrayal of a parent to a child? On a 0 to 10 rating. It's off the charts. 10, 12, 15, it's right off the charts. Avram Aveeno is betrayed by his father. Thrown into Kivshan Ha'esh. And what does Hashem say? Blossom wherever I put you. And he won't flinch. He will not hesitate for a second to agree to give up a life that's worthless if I have to serve Avodah Zarah for eternity to be part of and close to an all-perfect creator. Avram Aveeno goes through 10 nisyonos. We're going to look at that later on. It makes no difference what a person's situation is. We all have the exact same invitation. I met very recently at what's called a three-principle conference. It was actually Rabbi Twersky from Milwaukee's Innate Health Well-Being. What's it called? Twersky Well-Being Center, I think. So they did a conference, and there was a number of very interesting speakers, and I went there, and one lady comes up there, a Jewish lady, by the name of Wendy Segesi, Seggese. She stands there on the platform, and she says, I have cancer. This is a lady who has stage 4 cancer. 96, you look up the percentages. Don't believe in percentages, because every Jew, every person has hashgacha pratis, and every person has mazel, and we can change our mazel. But she stands there, she's got stage 4 cancer. 96% of ladies who have this type of cancer, once it hits stage 4, it spreads throughout the whole body. There's no real cure. 96% don't make it off beyond 5 years. She stands on the stage, she's in her 7th year, stage 4 cancer, and these are her words. I quote verbatim. I have cancer. I am not cancer. My body has cancer. I am not my body. Listen to the clarity. Who are you? Are you your body? Are you your family? Or is your body my body? Oh, there's a mind, there's a body. Oh, so your body's not you. My family. Oh, your family. Oh, they're not you. They're part of your life. My house. Well, my house is not, that's not me. My car. My job. The real us is never outside of us. It's always thought in the moment. The Hanisayon. Of all the Hanisayon possible, whether it's a health setback, a person always has a choice to recognize, I am not outside of me, I'm over here, this is where I live. And so if my body's not doing a good job, well, guess what? I'm not my body, I'm my mind. And with that mindset, it didn't go just like this. She admitted she was in and out of depression for the first few months. But with that mindset, 7 years later, she's going around giving chizuk to other people to recognize a very powerful truth. You exist over here, never outside of you. So someone could be having Gehenna in their marriage and they still are happy, because happiness is not just a choice, it's a thought of a choice. And thinking nobody can ever take away from me if I don't give permission. The famous Viktor Frankl, in his book in Life's Man's Search for Meaning, he actually wore tefillin every day after the war, even though that's not very well known. But he's what's known as the father of logotherapy. Logo is a Greek Latin word which means meaning. And he was someone who helped many people discover, talking about inmates and survivors of the Holocaust. And later on he worked exclusively only with people who had made attempts to commit suicide, obviously failed. He only worked with the most extreme traumatized people, and he helped people recognize there's two parts to pain. The technical pain, the physical pain, whatever it is that we're going through, and then there's the meaning we give the pain. And of the two, which is the factor that will decide on my recovery? The physical pain, the illness, the financial debt, the crazy family I'm part of? I can't function in this. Is it really all the stuff in my life that's the Hanisayon? Or is the real Nisayon, the real test, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? So Viktor Frankl made the claim that when he was being experimented on by the Nazis in the camps, he was 6 years, 4 years in Auschwitz, 2 in a sub-camp of Auschwitz, 6 years total through the whole war. And he continued doing his observations that he started before the war of recognizing that the most likely candidates for survival in the camps were not necessarily those who walked in the strongest and most robust, with the most muscles. He said typically it was the ones who had a reason to live, survive, reunite with family, or even if they knew they'd lost their family, to start life again after the war, and in that sense, win against Hitler. Yimach Shemai. We're still here. So he said in the moment they were experimenting upon his body without anesthetic, removing his masculinity, he said he discovered the greatest liberation possible. He said he helped. The Nazis had his body. They could do what they wanted with it. But they did not have his mind. As long as he could choose whatever he wants to think, guess who's free? And guess who's a slave? Oh, you're following orders? Oh, so you're not exercising true free will, Bechira? Oh, and so he recognized in that moment of excruciating pain that he had the greatest moment of personal liberation, freedom. So let's look at Hanisayon for a few moments. Because as long as I complain, very dangerous word, kvetch, for the situation I find myself in, the family, children, co-worker, boss, career, it makes no difference. Neighborhood. It makes it. Kol inyanei ha'olam hem nisyonos la'adam. It makes no difference what they are. Every single one of them is the same invitation. The same invitation for me. Who am I going to become? I use my language very deliberately. Who am I going to become? Why am I using that language? Because that's the translation of Heve. You'll find it in Pirkei Avos all over the place. Heve k'talmidav shel Aaron. Heve mitalmidav. Be from the Talmidim of Aaron. Oyev Shalom, Reidev Shalom. So says says the Sefer Charedim. Rabbi Eliezer Azkari. Thank you. Excellent. Buried right on the cave, literally touching the cave of the Arizal. And lived in the same, it was a chaver from the Arizal. Sefer Charedim, the Chavetz Chaim gave us a shir in Sefer Charedim every day. Sefer Charedim goes through all the mitzvahs, not all of Tariq, all those that are tali, that are still relevant to today. He goes through all the Tariq mitzvahs which are still able to be performed today through the body, meaning which parts of the body are used for each of the mitzvahs. But it's very interesting when he makes the following observation. When Chazal say Heve, they're telling you in an amazing lashon. He's telling us that you can havaya, you can become a different person. And he says that's why they use the lashon of Heve, mitalmidav shel Aaron. Heve, danet kol adam nechavschus. Heve means you can change. It's not. I can never say my teva is so ingrained in me, I'll never be able to change my nature. The actual lashon of I think I should just read you the lashon so that you see how strong it is. Very strong lashon from the Sefer Charedim, Perek Ches. He offers the following. Excuse me. V'yesh lefaresh. Heve, lashon heve, lelamed libnei adam. This is to teach people hatoyim that make the mistake. Ve'oimrim and say, Eini yachol limchai leploini. I can never forgive so and so. Sheharefli, that really hurt me, insulted me, really, really horrible person. V'tivi kasher, my teva, my nature's very hard. Lo yuchal lechavchai, and I can't turn it around. I can't change myself. Ule'olam lo yiyeh li ava imai, I'll never be be'ava with this person. Ve'afal pi shepamim mashlimim chaveroi, even if he does make peace with him, hu min asafa lechutz, it's only lip service. Uba Hillel, comes along the great Hillel, lahashmienu, to let us know, to hear the following. She'ein ze emet. I can never get away with this excuse in Olam Haba by saying, well, my teva, I saw that my father was unforgiving, my mother was really not easygoing, and my sibling. I always have a choice of what to think. And this is not true. It's simply not true that I can't change me. Every person can change their mind, their heart for good from bad. And create a new becoming of themselves, ubriya chadasha, a totally new person. I have no excuses. I have no excuses. If I'm in this traffic, Hashem wants me to be here. The question is, how am I going to respond? If I'm in this particular marriage or this stage of marriage or with this kid or this stage of raising this kid, bloom where I'm planted. What's the greatest blooming I can do? What's the greatest blossoming that I can do? So comes along Chavas Halavaves in his Hagdama, famously says the following. He went through all Tariq mitzvahs and each one has a limit. Every single mitzvah, shebaguf, that is taloi on a limb, has a limit. You shake lulav for a certain amount of time and place. You give it chatzi shekel. You keep Shabbos, or that's only this particular tekufa period over here. Every single mitzvah has a limit, except for the mitzvahs of the mind. The Atali Belev. Rabbi Viktor Miller of blessed memory always quotes that the word Lave correctly translates as Das and Hergesh. He says that right at the beginning of his Sefer Lave Avigdor, Simon Aleph, right at the beginning, he says, Chazal used the Lashon of Lave and Tanakh used the Lashon of Lave, and it's a reference to two items, because they're simultaneously the same thing. Your mind and what you feel. It's impossible to divorce the two. We've been hoodwinked by the Christian translations, which unfortunately we're stuck with, for now at least, until Safa Brua, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings in Sfanya, Perik Gimel, Pasuk Tes, there's one of the Nevuos that when Mashiach comes, the whole world will speak Lashon HaKodesh. Look at the Radak there, they all agree. It's talking Safa Brua, Ki Hafoich. I will switch every Lashon to a Lashon Brua, Safa Brua. And all the Amim, all the nations will serve me with this language. Safa Brua means a language of clarity. It's a perfect language. I'm afraid to tell you, all translations will be put in the Geniza, and we will only be learning inside the real Sfarim. The word Lave means both mind and emotion. It has to, and that's why you won't find any word for emotion throughout Tanakh. There's no such word. Did you know that? Think carefully. If there's no word for something in Lashon HaKodesh, that means it doesn't exist. I don't mean to say your emotions don't exist. Tanakh uses the same word for both. Rabbois machashavos belev ish. Where do you do your thinking? In your heart or your mind? Oh, in your mind. The word lave means mind and heart, because the moment you think it, you feel it. The moment you think it, you feel it. It has to... You couldn't have a separate word for hergesh, because this is the source of hergesh. This is the source of feeling. If you're thinking angry, that's what you're going to feel. Thinking frustrated, I'm going to feel it. But it goes the other way as well, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us so that we can pay more attention to what we're thinking by noticing what we're feeling. So if I feel angry, but the purpose of my hergesh, the purpose of the emotion, is to point an arrow to its source. Where is it coming from? So of course I'm going to say, you make me so mad. But that's exactly the same as saying, Ha-isha, that woman, asher natata imadi, that you gifted to stand by me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give Adam Harishon einish for eating from the tree until he was kaifer taiv. That really pushed Hashem over the edge. When we were over on the Chet HaEgel, that did not tick off HaKadosh Baruch Hu until the Meraglim. said Lashon Hara against the Matana of Eretz Yisrael, and Hashem says, you're complaining again and again and again? Lo tinasu, I see. Don't test me with complaints, because I have no right to complain. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Too much good is happening in my life for me to complain. So comes along Chazal and helps us understand that the word lave correctly translates as thought. The moment you think it, you feel it. It's impossible for it to be any other way, which is amazing, because if that's really true, then what happens if I don't like the way I feel? I have to think differently. So here's my question to you. Where do we find in Shulchan Aruch, which is essentially a book of instructions, how to be a Jew, how to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu, how to give Nachas Ruach through the Targum which apply to us nowadays, how do we do that? So comes along Rabbeinu Bachya in his Hagdama, and he offers that all the mitzvahs shebeguf have a limit, except for the mitzvahs of the mind are unlimited. How much emunah can you have in your lifetime? Unlimited. How much Avas Yisrael can you have in a lifetime? Unlimited. How much Avas Hashem can you have in a lifetime? Yiras Hashem. How much can I be done Havschus? Well, how many interactions do I have on a daily basis with lots of different people? My mother, in-law, father, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt, wife, husband, children, grandchildren, neighbor. We're interfacing with each other all the time, and I'm constantly thinking, judging, passing judgment. And God says to me, control my thoughts. That when I get a thought of interpreting your behavior in a negative way, what does Hashem tell me to do? A mitzvah aseh deraisa, b'tzedek, tishbot amitecha. If I really knew what my wife went through, what my husband's been through, whether it's today or whether it's in their childhood, if I really understood the challenges my own child has had in school, maybe I would not only be less judgmental about these people in my life, maybe I would be in admiration and drop the judgment, because I start to realize I had no clue that's how much you've been struggling. It's a mitzvah deraisa to be done. Where does that take place? Your pinky, your elbow, your kneecap, your stomach? It takes place, here. Says Rabbeinu Bachya, the mitzvahs of the mind are unlimited. We know there are 6 mitzvahs tamidiyas. I'll be very honest with you. If you look through all the Meinei HaMitzvahs, you'll see that there's at least 40 mitzvahs that apply every waking second of your life. B'tzedek tishbot amitecha, avas Yisrael, avas Hashem, yiras Hashem. Lo taturu acharei levavchem. Don't follow after your thoughts. Follow Hashem's thoughts. V'acharei nechem. Don't believe everything your eyes tell you, because you and I are looking at Olam ha-sheker. Olam ha-dimyan. It's an illusion. You and I never have the full picture of MS till we arrive in Olam ha-MS. Olam Hanisayon is a deliberate illusion. It's a divine illusion that you and I are living inside all the time. And every single situation is an invitation for me to blossom. What's the greatest blossoming I can possibly do? Comes along Shulchan Aruch and tells us, Reish Chaf Beis, in Aruch Chaim, Sif Gimel. It's really quoting from the Mishnah at the end of Brachas. The Lashon is added on slightly from the Torah, but look at the Lashon, very powerful Lashon. Chayav Adam. Doesn't say tzaddik, doesn't say chassid. Doesn't say Baal Madrega, doesn't say Yirei Shemayim of any specific description. Chayav Adam, levarech, al hara'ah. When things go wrong, at least apparently in my mindset, traffic, children, health, finances, or simple irritations on a daily basis. When things go wrong, Chayav Adam levarech al hara b'das shalema. He's not high on any drug. He's not an illusion. He's 100% sane in the moment. B'dah shalema u'b'nefesh chafetza, with absolutely willingly. He's no outside pressure is making him respond differently. B'dah shalema u'b'nefesh chafetza, k'mosh mevarach al ha'tov b'simcha. Just like when we make a bracha to Hashem, hatov ha'meitiv, when we're happy, that's what I should be doing the same way over here when things don't go well. At this point, I want to share with you an extraordinary book. It's so simply profound. It's simple, but that's its profundity. It's one of Rabbi Arush's books, for the series Garden of Emunah. This one's called Garden of Miracles. Say thank you and see miracles. He's got 190 stories, mostly stories. Fascinating. Some of them are like ridiculously out of the box miracles, where he's telling them, just follow Shulchan Aruch. Say thank you. You don't even mean it right now, but this pain is really, really hurting. It's really hurt. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's so many things to thank for. Rabbi Victor Miller was a big chassid of gratitude. In his later years, he was on occasion in hospital. That was unusual for him. He was very careful about his health. But on one particular occasion, a nurse brought him a little container, and he asked, "What's this for?" He said, "It's for your dentures." He said, "I don't have any dentures." Now, he's in his late 80s or so, and she said, "That's impossible." He said, No, I've got all my teeth." She couldn't believe it. So he said to her, "Madam, let me ask you a question. How many times in your life did you thank God for all your teeth?" She said, "Never." He said, "Well, I thank God every single day for all my teeth." Should I say thank you to Hashem when my brakes work on my car? Do I have to? No. Is it a good idea? Well, I might not have thought of that, but how about this as a thought? I think this is a very interesting thought. How about saying thank you for the guy who's behind me, that his brakes also work? Ho, ho, ho! How many people are behind me? In one journey, could be dozens or hundreds or even thousands of cars. Now, my mind might be somewhere else. I might be listening to an interesting shir or have a very interesting conversation with someone on the phone or in the passenger seat. But are there always more thank yous than I could even ever thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for? Olam Hazeh is one big Hanisayon, and comes along Shulchan Aruch and tells me, guess where the real test is. You'll find this also in chapter 19, Mesilas Yesharim. The Ramchal, he says it himself. Ha-muvchan, the real test of this Avas Hashem is b'shas tzara. It's when it's really hard. U'b'doichek, and when there's pressure. Am I going to say thank you for the problems with my eyes, with my lungs, with my liver? Am I going to thank you? Yeah, doesn't take away from me. What are the three parts to tefillah? What are the three halakim of tefillah? Tefillah was not invented by Chazal. It's one of the Tarek mitzvahs. Love Hashem with all your thoughts. Eizehu avayda shebelev. How do you love Hashem with your mind? Oh, zuhi tefillah. That's talking to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. That mitzvah was given 3,331 years ago. 1,700 years ago, give or take a few years, the Anshe Knesset G'dola legislated, probably close to 1900, legislated that you and I say these words in this siddur 3 times a day. So what were we doing for 1,300 years before the Anshe Knesset G'dola? And the answer is 1-800 Almighty. It was a free call. And you said what was on your mind, what was on your heart, what was going on in your marriage, what was going on with the parnasa, with the family, extended family. And there were 3 halakim, claim Chazal, are part of tefillah. What are they? For those still awake. What are they?
Thank you.
Hoida'ah. What else? Shvach. Praise. And lastly, bakasha. Of the 3, you and I spend a long time every morning, afternoon, evening. Shachris, mincha, mariv. A good hour and a quarter, half a day. You do a statistical analysis. I'm serious. Count the words in your siddur that are hodah, shevach, and bakasha, and put them into 3 categories. Which do you think of those 3 has the most? If you're davening very quickly and you come late and you got to go quickly from because of Shachat to Baruch She'amar and Ashrei right into Yishtabach, so you'll come out with a different statistical number. But seriously speaking, it's about 96% of davening is thank you and gratitude. Most of the bakashas you will find only in, and not all of the 12, 13 middle brachas of Shemon Esrei, but right somewhere in a quick one-liner. The most powerful component of tefillah is thank you. What am I thanking you for? The biggest test of my love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is b'shas hatzara b'doichek, says the Mishal Shisharim. When it's not easy, how will I respond? And if we really love Hashem, the first thing that will come out of our mouths with tefillah before we say, please take this away, is I love you, thank you. And we're practicing every day. Says the Mishal Shisharim, what's the pasuk? The makar, that the mivchan, the real test of my avas Hashem is b'shas hatzara v'doichek. Shenema ve'ahavta. I should say it right. Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. And you shall love Hashem b'chol levavecha, with all your thoughts. What are all your thoughts? What do Chazal say? It's a Mishnah right at the end of brachas. B'shnei yitzarecha, ya yetzer tov and yetzer hara. Good thinking, not good thinking. How do I serve Hashem with my not good thinking? Well, the moment the thought pops up in my mind, because that's what thoughts do, they pop up. You and I very, very often don't have that much control over the pop-ups. You always control the next thought, always. So when you get a pop-up thought, that person, I don't like that person. Oh, there's a mitzvah of Ahavas Yisrael. Okay. Thank you, Hashem, for the pop-up. Thank you, Hashem, for the not nice thought, because now I can serve you with my Yetzer Hara. Do you hear? Oh, thank you for the pain of this marriage, because now, when I turn to you and thank you, I also ask you to give me clarity to be a better husband, a better wife, a better father, a better mother, where the fact that you're giving me this difficulty is making me turn to you, and so it's the difficulty that's making me closer to you. You go through Chazal, you'll see it's spelt out all the time. Uparo hikriv. When Paro arrives at the Yam Suf, it should say Parav Karev, he came close. But it says hikriv means he brought close. He brought something else close. To where? To what? What is he bringing close? So Medrash pounces on the grammatical inconsistency of the wording and says, what was he makriv? Says Chazal, Pare was hikriv b'nei Yisrael l'kadosh baruch hu al yedei teshuva she'asu. Pare, when we see him at this only entrance to this massive beachhead on the Yam Suf, and we're trapped, mountains on both sides, there's no way to scale them, and the only entrance is this narrow canyon, Pi HaChirais, and the Pare and his men are right there. There's nowhere to go. Sagar Aleihem Amidbar, we're locked in. Vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael el Hashem, we screamed out to Hashem. And says Chazal on Paroi Hikriv is that Paroi's arrival brought us close to Hashem. Because the next thing we did after we screamed was ask Hashem to save us. Oh, so the purpose of the Hanisayon is always to help me get the next thought. I love you. Please help me. I can't do this alone. I need you. But what's getting me there is the sinner. The hatred thought in the first place is what now I'm serving you with when I say, oh, that's not, you don't want me to have sinas chinam. That's why we're still in Golus. Oh, so let me turn into Ava. Please Hashem, thank you for the sinner thought, because now I get to be closer to you by saying, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to struggle. Because the struggle is worth more than the problem itself. The sincere, honest struggle is worth more. It's worth it. Why is it worth it? Sfarim tell us that one flame in Gehenna is worse than the entire suffering that Eov went through. Horrific suffering. But that didn't equal one flame in Gehenna. So if a person, Has V'Shalom, has done terrible Aveiros, but guess what? The worst a Rasha could ever get out of Gehenna is how long? What's the biggest, longest period? 12 months. After that? What's that? What's after 12 months? Gan Eden for what? For all the mitzvahs he did. Is a hirhur of Teshuva a mitzvah? Yes or no? If a person came down to this world and the only thing he ever had was once a hirhur of Teshuva, that's enough to get him eternity. Hey, it might be the smoking section, but it might not be quality-wise, I don't know what it would look like. But it's worth, listen very carefully, because what I'm saying is so simple. It's worth coming into this world to go through the worst suffering, and Has V'Shalom even be a Rasha, to have one hirhur of Teshuva, because then there's eternity for that. The worst that can ever person have is 12 months of Gehenna. That's the worst. I'm not belittling it, but I'm just bringing out why HaKadosh Baruch Hu was machriya in the machlekes, Shammai and Hillel, for 2.5 years, debating. Should Hashem have created us or not? Mutav shenivra, mutav shaloi nivra. After 2.5 years, they finally agreed, mutav shaloi nivra. It would have been much better if we weren't created. But Achshav, now that we have been created, Yefashvesh myself, let's do Teshuva. Let's look at what we do, what happens in our lives, let's do Teshuva. The obvious question is, why are you debating it? HaKadosh Baruch Hu obviously decided up front, it's better to create you. And the simple answer is a very simple answer. Klape us, it's worth not coming into this world. Because I'm probably going to complain. I'm going to make so many mistakes. Who knows how many Aveiros I'm going to do. But Klape Shmaya, one hero of Teshuva makes it all worthwhile. One mitzvah, one pruta tzedakah, one tefillah in a lifetime makes it all worthwhile. And what makes it worthwhile? Who makes us great? And the answer is, whatever is hard for us, even the small irritations, is what's making us great. As Rabbi Viktor Miller of blessed memory used to say, who made Avram Aveeno great? And his answer was, Nimrod! Forced him to make a choice between death by burning or bowing down to Nimrod as the acclaimed creator of the universe. Nimrod made him great. Who made Klal Yisrael great? Well, amongst our enemies, you got Haman. Parai. Because they force us to make a choice. Will I remain loyal to Hashem's Torah or not? And the greatest demonstration of our love to Hashem is b'shas hatzara v'hadoichik. It's when it's not easy. Chayav adam levarach al ha'tov k'shem mevarach al hara da shalema nefesh chafetza b'simcha. Also, Simon Shulchan Aruch, Reish Lamed, right at the end, la'olam, a lashon of consistently, la'olam yehi adam ragil leima kol da'avid rachmana l'tav avid. Oh, so I should get into the habit that when I do get irritated at home by my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, my wife, my husband. I have a friend whose wife wasn't talking to him for 2 days. Finally got it out of her. She said, "You ruined my birthday." He said, "That is so not true. I don't even know when your birthday is." Come along, Chazal, and tell us, whoever it is that's irritating me, whoever it is that's upsetting me, whatever circumstances, I'm being invited to think differently. And what's the first thing I should think? Thank you, I love you, please help me. Comes along Rabbeinu Bachya and says that when the mitzvahs of the mind have no limit. So let me give you a glimpse, an example. How many mitzvahs does a person get when they say Gam Zul Teva? How many mitzvahs deraisa does a person get in the moment they say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I love you, even though it's still painful? Do they get the mitzvah of Emunah, yes or no? Yes. Why? I'm increasing my emunah through the difficulty. So by saying thank you in that moment, you get the mitzvah of emunah. Do you get the other mitzvah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us at Har Sinai? Lo yeh lacha Elohim acherim al panai. Don't follow the translation that says don't have any other gods besides me. That's not the correct translation. Lo yeh lacha Elohim acherim. El means power. Elohim acherim means other powers. Don't turn anything into another power. Whether it's real avodah zarah, but it doesn't say avodah zarah there. It says any other powers. Or I turn you into a power. You make me so mad! Well, one second. If you make me mad, I have just said that you control my mind and my emotions. So I've turned you into a power greater than myself. And now you are Elohim Acherim. Do you follow the logic here? No wonder Chazal equate anger with avodah zarah. It's the same thing. Do you follow? It's a ki'ilu, but it's the same concept. Because avodah zarah is ignoring HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the only one power. And now I'm suggesting there might be an emissary, something in between. But when I blame my boss and I want to sue this client, or I'm mad at you, and you have messed up, I gave you the best years of my life, and I'm so upset. Well, when I'm doing that, am I admitting HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are the only one power behind everything? Or am I saying, well, Rebbe Shalem, on this, I'm afraid you're not in this equation. It really is my husband. It really is my wife. It really is my mother-in-law. It really is my father-in-law. They really are tormenting me. I can't tell you what I've got. You don't seem to understand what I'm going through. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, how are your lungs? How's your spleen? How's your eyesight? Your teeth are okay? Your tongue? The brakes in your car and the brakes of all the cars behind you? What else are you saying thank you to me? Because big if, mega if I have a right to tell God what's not right about my marriage, then I should at least be consistent with my own logic and tell him what's right in my spouse. If I have a right to tell the Rebbeinu Shalom what I don't like about life, I should be consistent with my own logic and at least tell him what's good. David HaMelech had this dilemma. Because every time he would speak about the pain in his life, Dal Fanafshi Mituga, Perek Kuf Yutes, if you're never sure about which capital, always say Kuf Yutes, you've got a pretty good chance of getting it right. Says David HaMelech, my soul drips with agony. Dal Fanafshi Mituga. You don't even have English words for the beautiful poetical language that he uses. But he always comes back to the same default. Hoidu Lashem. Zehayim. This is not an easy day. No, says David HaMelech. Zehayim asa Hashem. Hey, yeah, but you have no idea you have no idea what a difficulty I had today with my carpool. You have no idea dealing with the Rebbe or the Mara or the Menahel, the principal today. You have no idea what I went through with my co-workers. You have no the amount of abuse I take from my boss. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through David HaMelech, is saying, Zeh hayom asa Hashem. Oh, really? You made this day? Oh, so if you made this day, it must be pretty good. There's got to be some good in it, right? Nagila, let us reveal. Nagila, let us rejoice. Gila is a lashon of gilui. Let us reveal the hidden good that's already in my life, in my wife, in my spouse, in my house, in my health, in my wealth. I'm a poet, and I know it. Comes along Chazal and wants me to train in God's reality. Kol Avid Rahmana Latav Avid. When you say those words, Gams Latova, thank you, Shem, I love you, I love you. Just say, I love you, I thank you. Simple, pshitas, tmimas, nothing sophisticated. You get the mitzvah of emunah. You get the mitzvah of Lo Yeh Lecha Elohim Acherim Al Panai. You get the mitzvah of Echad, Hashema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Shem Echad. We're training every morning, every night. You are Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, Elokeinu. You're the God who is Yud Kei Vav Kei, always was, is, and will be, Chesed. And you're also Elokeinu, Elokim. You're also a God of Din, Echad. But you really are the same one God. There's no real difference between them. That's the ultimate da'as. Oh, so you're getting the mitzvah of saying, Hashem, you're Echad, every time you say, I love you. When it's not good. You hear the logic? 3 mitzvahs tamidias. So far, I've got 40, but I won't have time to go through all of them. Lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem. Do you get that mitzvah every time we say thank you, I love you? Do we get that mitzvah, yes or no? Yes. What's the logic? Because instead of me following, oh, it's the boss. Oh, it's not you again. Oh, the cashier, so rude. I come there, so impertinent. You know, no manners in this country. And when all my complaining is focusing in the moment, it's my thoughts in the moment, focusing on what's not good in my life. And in that same moment, Hashem is giving me a very simple test. Blossom where I plant you. Right now, you're in traffic. Right now, you're in the showroom. Right now, you're in the classroom. Right now, you're in the staff room. Right now, you're with the kids. Right now, you're with your spouse. Blossom where I plant you. But my mind keeps saying, you know, I got to get to the office. And here I am playing with my kids. And where's my mind? In the office. Here I am at the office, but I'm not really focusing because I'm worried about my shalom bias. So where am I? Wherever my mind is. Here I am driving with a cell phone, cup of coffee, changing radio station to hear about the thunderstorm and maneuvering the steering wheel. Where am I? Well, the GPS says, no, I don't mean physically where are you? I'm in the car. No, where are you? Here. No, the real you. Oh, thought. Am I drinking coffee, listening to the radio, talking to a friend, driving a car? Where am I? Ah, yeah, car. Where am I? How far am I away from changing my mind? Hihur of Teshuva. Teshuva, the Ikka Teshuva is believe in the mind. Brought all over in many Sfarim. Ikka Teshuva is believe. How far is that mitzvah? So our Rishonim tell us that the following pasuk I'm about to quote to you is going on Torah and Teshuva. Kikaroi ve'elecha hadava ma'oid. This item is exceedingly close to you. Perek Lamed, pasuk Gedalet, and Dvarim. Kikaroi ve'adava elecha ma'oid. This is exceeding close to you. Beficha, in your mouth. I love you. Thank you. Sorry. Help. Uvilvavicha, and in your thoughts, la asoisai, to do it. Teshuva is not complicated. It's not months and years. It can be, but it doesn't have to be, because a Rosh Gomor, in one moment of saying Almanah Shani Tzadik Gomor, Mikudeshes. But he's a Rosh Gomor. No, in Hashem's dictionary, the only one that's real, thought counts all the way. And so Beis Din, who see this Rosh Gomor, give a pruta to an Isha and says, Haram Mikudeshes Bazu Al Menashani Tzadik Gomor Mikudeshes. Why? Says Shulchan Aruch, Even Ezra Lamed Ches Lamed Aleph, Sif Lamed Aleph, Shema, Hihur Teshuva Belibai. Because perhaps he had a thought of Teshuva in his mind. Changes everything. How long does that take? 1 second. Oh, so when we're saying thank you, Hashem, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Do you get the mitzvah of Teshuva? And if you're doing it me'ava, is that different from yira? Yeah, because if it's from yira, well, any aveira I did connected to this gets kind of cancelled. But if I do it me'ava, what happens to the aveira? What happens to the zdainus? They become a schuyos. Whoa! Rebbeinu Shalom, you're so good to me. You love us so much. Do you get in the midst of Yirat Shemayim, Yiras Hashem, when we say hello to Hashem, thank you, I love you? Do you get the mitzvah of Ahavta Recha Kamoicha? That instead of me having sinna or Natira, Natira means I'm being shomer, the ra, beliboy, about you. In English we say bearing a grudge. Rashi says, Shaloi Masich Medasai, right at the top of the page, Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph, in Yuma, talking about Natira. Natira means resentment. Oh, do you know how many people I resent? Just say their name and guess what pops up in my mind. That's an invitation. For what will I think in the next thought? And when we say, I love you, Hashem, thank you for the Natira that just popped up, because now I get to say, I love you with my Yetzer Hara. B'shnei Yetzarecha. It's not complicated. That is the beauty of Judaism. It's not complicated. When we look carefully, we see this is where you and I function all the time. Over here. You and I function between our ears all day and night. Every single waking moment of our entire lives is experienced over here. And every time we say, I love you, thank you, Hashem, we are turning our muzzle around. That's why Rabbi Rush had to commit to writing 190 of the stories of where people say thank you and again, and saw miracles take place in front of their eyes, whether it was severe debt, whether it was, in some cases, very serious cases of terminal disease. Do you and I get the mitzvah of lo tikaim, don't want to take revenge on others, when we say thank you, Hashem, for that machshava? We turn it around, say, Hashem, I love you, because now I get to be dovek to you. Oh, boy tidbak. Is that a mitzvah deraisa? Yes, one of the Taryag mitzvahs according to Sefer HaReidim, the Smak. Oh, boy tidbak, be dovek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Rambam explains it to be dovek to Talmidei Chachamim. And that's how you're dovek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sefer HaReidim and others say, in addition to that, you are dovek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when your machshava is on Hashem. Oh, so when you say, I love you, Hashem, thank you, Hashem, for the ra, chayav adam levarach al hara, thank you. Oh, you get the mitzvah of boi tidbak. You get the mitzvah of judging Hashem righteously in the smug. Reb Moshe Mekusi, one of the Balei Tosfos, he writes that one of the Taryag mitzvahs is to be done chavschus on a Kadosh Baruch Hu. That when things go wrong, judge Hashem favorably. I know that it must be a bigger plan. I don't know what it is. I love you. I thank you. Sefer HaReidim and Smag both bring the following. Umaltim et orlas levavchem. Now the word lev really means mind. Orla means extra. So that's the lashon of the Radak. Is meyusa. It's more. So if lev means mind or thought, umaltem, cut off, orlas levavchem. Remove the extra thinking. What's the extra thinking? I can't stop thinking about this person. She drives me crazy. He drives me nuts. This child, why me? So I'm going to share with you a very simple mashal. Here's my pekel. This is my Hanisayon. Hashem has designed it that it's not too heavy, it's not super light, but it's not too heavy for me to carry throughout my life. So contained here is all the difficulties that I go through on a daily basis. So why is my Hanisayon so hard? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you designed it perfectly for me. Well, I'm looking at other people, and it looks to me that they don't have the type of Hanisayon that I'm carrying with me. And sometimes I really feel jealous about it. I can't help it because, other people got a much better financial situation than I have. And besides that, my kids, I just, they're just so unruly, so undisciplined. 1 hour of their chutzpah is more than I had in a lifetime. My husband he just doesn't understand me. My wife doesn't show me respect. And I can't begin to tell you how I'm finding life really hard. Rebbeinu Shalom, why are you doing this to me? I don't think I can take it much more. The Hanisayon is not the problem. It's the overweight thinking that is destroying my mind. I am the problem. It's not my wife. It's not my husband. It's not the kids. It's what I keep thinking about. I'm going to prove it to you. You and I have whose DNA? Avram Aveeno, Sarah Imenu. Avram Aveeno, say Chazal, Pirkei Avos, Perek Hey, Mishnah Gimel. Ba'asara nisyonos nitnasa Avram Aveeno. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put him through 10 tests. The Amad, Bekulam. Wow. He stood up to all of them. What's the obvious question you and I want to know the answer to? What's the obvious question? If you could ask only one question to Avram Aveeno standing here tonight, what would you ask him? In relationship to this Mishnah, what would you want to know? How did you do it? You chose the Kivshan Ha'esh over Nimrod. When you arrived into Eretz Canaan, promised to you by Kadosh Baruch Hu, you arrive there and there's a Ra'av. You come with Berchush Gadol, with a tremendous amount of wealth, and within 3 months, what were you doing? No, you did not do an Elimelech and go to Moav. What did you do for 3 months? Read the Midrashim there, Perek Yud Beis. Unbelievable. Avram and Sarah started shechting all their animals to give food to everybody. And who was everybody? Monotheists? Believers in one Hashem? No! These were the lowest people. Canaan. Chazal tell us, Kan Ani. Kanani is over here as poverty. True poverty is not financial. True worst poverty is poverty of the mind. Poor thinking. Like Rabbi Viktor Miller says on the pasuk in Mishlei, Kol Yemei Ha'ani Ro'im. All the days of the poor man are bad, terrible. Ask Rabbi Viktor Miller, why do I need Shlom HaMelech? Hacham Mikol Adam. To tell me that all the days of the poor man are bad? Finish the pasuk. V'toiv Lave Mishte Tamid. A good mind is at a constant banquet. Oh, the Ani is not talking about finances, materially. It's talking much worse. Poor thinking. And I don't mean unintellectual. It doesn't mean it doesn't have a PhD and a good grade from high school. Poor thinking, you can have 4 PhDs and still be poverty-stricken. Because poverty of the mind means I live a life of being ungrateful. Is the worst. So comes along Chazal and says, Kanani, Kan Ani. The people of Canaan were poor over here. And Avram Aveeno, Sarah Imenu, are shechting all their animals. Then he sold all the jewelry, all the gold, all the silver, until 3 months. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of people they fed. The Ra'av didn't stop. What did Avram Aveeno do next? Goes down to Mitzrayim. He's forced. He has to. And then his wife is kidnapped by Parai. And what do Chazal tell us? You've only got 3 words you know. Look at the Rashi and Rabbeinu Yonah on the Mishnah, Perek Hey, Mishnah Gimel, Perek Avos. 3 words answer the question. How did you do it? Avram Aveeno, how did you do it? When you're told to sacrifice your son, your only son, the one you love. What were you thinking? Ribono Shel Olam, 67 years ago, you promised me a son. 37 years ago, he was born. I waited 30 years. My wife waited 90 years. Every month. No, not this month. No, not this month. No. For 9 decades. And now you're telling me to sacrifice him? Listen to what Chazal reveal. 3 words. How did you stand up to all those nisyonos? Shalai hiher acharav. He didn't think after him or after it. He wasn't thinking about the ra'av. He was thinking, oh, you're inviting me in a situation where I'm going to prove my emunah. I love you, Hashem. I get to do a tremendous amount of chesed. Now I'm serving you with everything because I've got nothing left. I've got to go down to Mitzrayim with a little bit of rechush that's left to bribe my way in and take care of myself there. Shalohi acharav. That's why when Moshe Rabbeinu asked Lama harata la'amazeh, Perek Vav, beginning of Parshas Va'era, and Hashem says, why are you asking me that? Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Sarah. Avram Aveeno had nowhere to bury his wife. Shalohi achrei mudoisai. He didn't even think. It's here that I go through the Hanisayon. I'll prove it to you. Everyone here, how often do you think on a Friday, should I keep Shabbos this Shabbos or not? Should I put on tefillin this morning or not? It's not a Hanisayon to you. Do you know why? Because you don't think about it. Someone who's thinking about McDonald's, beef burgers or whatever, they're thinking about it. It becomes a Hanisayon. It's the thinking that's the Hanisayon. It's the overweight thinking that's the Hanisayon. I saw once someone who'd been through 13 rehabs for heroin. He said the only thing missing in his life was a death certificate. It was the only thing that his entire family and himself knew was coming. That's the only thing missing in his whole life. Because it was just a matter of time. 13 rehabs, he's still alive. And he keeps going back until unbelievable insight he had. He said, I realized I never had an addiction problem. I never had an addiction problem. I had a thinking problem. I thought that this drug would get me out of my pain, escape from my reality, which I didn't want to be part of. And when I realized the problem is not the addiction, the problem is what I'm thinking. And now he goes around the country helping people in rehab to recognize that it's the thinking about the drug getting me out of pain that is the problem. Start saying thank you for the good that's already in one's life, and I don't need to turn to other stuff. Avram Aveeno, Shalohi acharav. Sarah Imenu, 127 years. 100 shana v'esim shana v'sheva shanim. Say Chazal, why does the pasuk start off Vayiyu Chaye Sarah? Tell us the number of years she lived, and then off end Shnei Chaye Sarah. To tell you it makes no difference when you looked at her life. It was kulan shavin l'taiva, all equally good. Ribono Shel Olam, how can she say that? Kidnapped twice, barren 90 years. She went through the same Rav, same famine as Avram Aveeno. When he was thrown into the Kibshana Eish, she was married to him. What was she thinking by saying, Kulan Shavim L'Taiva? And her answer is so simple. Either I read my life based on what happens to me, from people and situations and circumstances, or I tell you, what am I thinking? And she said, every time another month would go by, I cried, and then I said, I'm going to pray more, and I get to be closer to you by thanking you more and saying, I love you no matter what. Oh, so what brought you closer and closer and closer was every single disappointment. You then said, thank you, I love you. And to show you how true this is, look at the first Rashi Tevos of Kulan Shavin L'Tova, spells the word Seichel. Because where do you experience life? You're never, I'm about to say something that sounds shocking, it's not to shock you, it's true though. You're never married to your spouse, ever. You are only ever married to who you think he, she is. So if you really want your spouse to change, where should we begin? What am I thinking? I'll close. Here's a thought. It's a hammer. It's a thought. This is my anxiety thought. Actually, when it really, actually, when I get my anxiety attacks, I feel pain. I really get hurt by it. And then when I think about my boss, oh my gosh, my boss, I can't tell you, I do the work of 3 employees. I get paid half the amount of everyone else. I got such a headache from my boss. I have to tell you about, so there's some thoughts I have of real frustration. I got so much frustration going on between my kids and my co-workers and my children. I really am so frustrated. I'm feeling a tremendous amount of fear in my life. You have no idea. I'm just fearful that will I, God forbid, have cancer or heart disease? I have so many things where my kids will stay from. And these are all thoughts. I keep thinking it's the things outside of me that's causing it, but I've got a lot of anger related to how I look at my life. And I can tell you, I'm really getting a headache from this. I really tell you, I truly am getting a real headache. I'm almost finished. I'm worried about my health because my doctor says I'm getting heart disease. I don't know whether I'm going to lose weight. How will I ever get into an exercise program? And between all, thank you very much. The debt! No, the debt. I wish you didn't pick that one up. Oh, the debt. All I need is about 4 more credit cards to roll over my debt, and then I'll be... The moment I realize that it's not the hammer that's banging on my head, it's the thought that's inside of me that I'm entertaining. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm giving you choice, Bekira, in your next thought. You want to carry on with the anger, frustration, debt, my boss, fear, anxiety? Or the moment I realize I'm doing this to myself, guess what I do next? Guess what I'll do next? You drop the thought. Why should I go there? And the Kadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Perek Yud Pasuk Yud Gimel in Dvarim, Umal temet orlas levavchem, cut off the extra thinking. Says Rashi, Orla is a timtum, halev. It's a blockage. I'm blocking my muzzle of flowing of blessing that Hashem wants to constantly. The tap is open. I'm closing it. Because my neshama is over here. The seichel is your neshama. It's in your mayach. That's in in Siman Kafei, Sivhei, in Shulchan Aruch, Arachayim. Your tefillin are connected, your mayach, because that's where your neshama is. Oh, you are neshama. I am hurting myself with my thoughts, my seichel. And that is what I'm going to take with me to Olam HaEmes. In the schus of knowing that life is a lot simpler than I think when I stop thinking about the stuff that's hurting me and start thanking instead of thinking and thinking and thinking. And then as we start thanking and say, thank you, I love you, because that's a mitzvah deoraisa, which you get about 40 mitzvahs deoraisa every single time. And that's why Rabbeinu Bachya is saying there's no end to the schar of mitzvahs done with the mind. Because in one thought, one thank you, you're getting so many mitzvahs simultaneously. in the schus of knowing that Hashem wants us to live, v'ahavta, et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha. In the source of knowing that, we should all be zeicha to pay more attention to our thoughts and see that simcha is more of a metzias, that Hashem is with us all along, and we should carry that with us till come and Mashiach b'mei Aveeno. Amen. So I went over. The rabbi said I could go for a few minutes. I didn't realize 17 minutes, a bit long. I think he meant
Shame
like 5.
Natira unless it's possible not to give a big ashikoyach to Rabbi Rietti, who's inspiring drasha. But I say one another mitzvah you don't have to think about is mitzvah harbotzes Torah the rabbim to sponsoring one of the Irgun Shir Torah shiurim. Call Irgun Shir Torah at 718-851-8651 or email tapecenter@yeshivanet.com. Right to give a big ashikoyach to Mr. Benjamin Perlman for sponsoring tonight's shir the Nishmas Ovav Rabbi Yosef Ber Naftali Benjamin the email Rechel Leah Basar B'Shleima Leah Masholem. CDs of tonight's show available shortly, and CDs of last night and other nights are available as well. Chananya ben Akashem Artzakadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakis Yisrael L'Figure Hibram Torah Mitzvah Shenema L'Noich Hofes L'Man Tzidka Yagdol Torah V'Yader.